What's up, everybody? It's Alex Leak and Friends NFL Podcast. Back for another week. This is the Super Bowl 56 preview episode. And we got Dustin back on the show. What's up, Dustin?
What's up, man? Thanks for having me as always.
Absolutely. So this is Bengals-Rams, 2 4 seeds battling it out for the Super Bowl. It's the second straight year that a team has played the Super Bowl in their home stadium. Last year, the Bucs started it out, winning in Tampa Bay. Now the Rams playing at home at SoFi in LA. Do you think that's a major advantage for the Rams?
Oh, yeah. Of course it is. I mean, anytime you have home field advantage in the Super Bowl, it's always great. I mean, we seen last year for Tampa what little fans were there, but they helped them a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's going to be a huge home field advantage because I think a lot of Bengals fans are going to travel, but you know how the Super Bowl goes. You don't get the diehard fans. You get all the rich folks that don't really care about who wins.
That is true.
So a big topic, we're going to look at every aspect of this game, but one of them, let's look at the coaching staff. So we got Sean McVay against Zach Taylor, the two head coaches. Zach Taylor, former quarterback coach when the Rams went to the Super Bowl in 2018. So, they know each other very well, Zach Taylor and Sean McVay. This is a prove-it game for me for Sean McVay. After going 0-1 in the Super Bowl and only putting up 3 points the last time. What do you think this would mean if Sean McVay can't get this done, loses to his disciple, Zach Taylor, and falls to 0-2 in the Super Bowl? It's a big, legacy game for McVay, I think.
Yeah, in my opinion, this is a must-win. This is your second trip there, and you have a better quarterback, a better upgrade, so you have to win this game.
Yeah, Stafford compared to Goff. Yeah, that's why they brought Stafford in. That's why they traded for him, was to go on a Super Bowl run. And that's why they've, got rid of a lot of these high draft picks to go get star players. Rams OC, offensive coordinator Kevin O'Connell, is now the Vikings head coach. Do you think there's any bit of a distraction there for O'Connell looking forward to the Vikings job going into the Super Bowl?
It's always got to be a distraction looking forward on how to build, the team and stuff, but he could just be focused on trying to actually win and have a ring and then go coach, Minnesota.
Yeah. Now, you had high praise for the Bengals defense and defensive coordinator Lou Anarumo. And the job that he did adjusting in the second half against the Chiefs. He's a longtime defensive backs coach since the early 90s. He's going to have to bring it, and the Bengals defense is going to have to bring it against Cooper Kupp and Odell Beckham Jr. I actually have a lot of faith. I think the Bengals secondary is going to play pretty well in this game. What do you think?
Yeah, they absolutely have to, because they have one hell of a task coming towards them, with two of the top elite receivers in the league.
Yeah, but the Chiefs had Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. What did the Bengals do to take away those weapons in Kansas City?
Well, they ended up finally bringing pressure to Mahomes and making him have a quick release, and they played a lot of zone. So instead of the man, it was bunching up the middle and keeping them out on the sidelines.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be really key to if the Bengals get pressure on Stafford. That's going to be huge. Huge aspect in this game. You have to get pressure on him. Now, the quarterback battle, you got a 34-year-old Matthew Stafford in his first Super Bowl appearance against a 25-year-old Joe Burrow in his first Super Bowl appearance. Stafford has stepped up his game in the playoffs, throwing 6 touchdowns and just 1 pick, to Joe Burrow's 4 touchdowns and 2 picks. Who do we trust more? I think you're going Stafford, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to go with a veteran, and not necessarily saying he has playoff experience, but somebody who's been in a big game before.
Yeah, I mean, I'm high on Joe Burrow. Like, his stats, he's 7-0 in postseason games going back to LSU. I think looking, if you translate what he did in college at LSU and outperforming Trevor Lawrence in the national championship game, I don't know, man. I think there might be something to Joe Burrow, and if he can pull this off and outduel Matthew Stafford in this game, that would be crazy, man. I just think Joe Burrow has that it factor.
It would be crazy, but it would also be bad for Matthew Stafford.
It would be. I mean, I think you agree. This is probably the closest Stafford's ever going to get to winning that championship. So he needs to deliver now. I don't think there's, lose this and come back next year. He needs to get it done this year. His only opportunity.
Yeah. I agree, because they let all their draft picks go for a moment like Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. Big-ass game. Looking at the running back duo, the Rams have Cam Akers and Sony Michel going against the Bengals, Joe Mixon and Samaje Perine. Who do you like more? Which running back tandem do you like better?
Man. Running back wise, I like Joe Mixon and Samaje Perine.
Yeah.
For the simple fact that Akers is still, a little coming off the injury still. I don't think that he'll be able to give his full performance.
Yeah, and he's coming off, I believe, a shoulder injury. And then he had those fumbles in the divisional round against Tampa Bay. He can't have that. They didn't exactly run the ball super successfully in the NFC Championship game. So that's going to be key, I think, whoever can run the ball better as well. And then especially the Bengals have had a lot of success on screen passes and throwing to the running backs, Mixon and Perine. So that's going to be something to keep an eye on for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. You took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say that Mixon and Perine got pretty good hands.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you got to also think about Sony Michel. He almost won a Super Bowl MVP himself when the Patriots beat the Rams. So it's going to be a lot of fun watching that battle. Looking at the wide receiver battle, so we got Cooper Kupp, Odell Beckham Jr., Van Jefferson. I mean, that's a great combination in LA, but you've also got Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd in Cincinnati. Who do you think has a better game?
Oh, man. I'm going to have to go with the Rams. Like, are you talking about individually or?
As a unit.
Okay, as a unit. I'm going to have to go with the Rams for the simple fact that Jalen Ramsey, I think if there was anybody in the league who could slow down Jamar Chase, it's Ramsey.
Yeah, that's going to be, man, talk about must-watch football. That's going to be a matchup we're going to be watching the entire Super Bowl is Jamar Chase against Jalen Ramsey. That's going to be a lot of fun. And who do you think wins that? Do you think Jalen Ramsey shuts him down? I think Jamar Chase has a good game.
I do think so, but I just don't think he'll be as explosive over top.
Yeah, that'll be definitely something to keep an eye on. I wonder if they still put a safety over the top, try to keep him totally out of the game. And let's say they do that. Let's say they take Jamar Chase out of the game for the most part, hold him to like 50, 60, 70 yards, don't let him go off. It's incumbent on T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd to show up and be a big factor in this game.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then your boy over there in L.A., Ben Skowronek, former Notre Dame wide receiver. Let's see if he can rebound after dropping that touchdown catch in the NFC Championship game. If he redeems himself and catches a touchdown in the Super Bowl, that'll be, huge for L.A.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody else besides Cooper Kupp is going to have to step up, obviously, but just look at the rest that Stafford has. Van Jefferson is explosive when he wants to. Cooper Kupp, Higbee is explosive, and So is Odell.
Yeah, honestly, keep an eye on Odell Beckham Jr. He's been coming on. The chemistry between him and Stafford has been getting better on a weekly basis. And, I mean, keep an eye on Odell Beckham Jr. All eyes are going to be on Cooper Kupp. OBJ might have a big Super Bowl, and this is his first Super Bowl appearance. You know OBJ is going to want to go off.
Yep, he is. It's gonna be great to watch, man. It's a lot of good football.
Yeah, storylines all over the place. Now, speaking of tight ends, both starting tight ends, are coming off sprained MCLs in their knee. Tyler Higbee suffered a knee injury in the conference championship game, and C.J. Uzomah suffered a knee injury. Uzomah has sworn that he's going to play in this game. And Tyler Higbee, we're still waiting. We're not sure. I'm leaning Higbee might not be able to go, or might be pretty limited. I think Uzomah is going to play, but he might be limited as well. So two guys to keep an eye on is Kendall Blanton and Drew Sample. Who do you think is going to be more impactful at the tight end position?
I haven't really focused on their tight ends, but if Higbee can play, I think he's going to be the most impactful.
Yeah. I think Uzomah is going to have to, if he plays, he's going to have to be impactful as well. I really like what I've seen out of Kendall Blanton so far. Like, no one really knows who he is, but when he stepped in important times throughout the season in the playoffs, he was key. He can block, he can pass catch, he came through in big moments. And Drew Sample was a big name guy coming out of college. He needs to show up as well, if Uzomah can't be himself.
Yep, absolutely.
Now, looking at offensive line play, clear edge to the Rams. And a lot of people talking about tackle Andrew Whitworth, who's a longtime veteran in this league. Was actually a longtime Bengal. He was on Cincinnati. He was drafted by the Bengals in 2006 and played in Cincinnati from 2006 to 2016. So this is going to be a lot of fun for Andrew Whitworth, playing in the biggest stage against his former team and probably his last year in the NFL before he retires.
Yeah, he's a great player, man. And how great of a storyline is that to win a Super Bowl against the team that you started with,
Yeah, absolutely. Looking at the D-line battle, obvious edge to the Rams with Aaron Donald, Greg Gaines, and A'Shawn Robinson in the middle. And then on the edge, Von Miller and Leonard Floyd coming after the quarterback. That's what a lot of people are talking about, but let's not sleep on what the Bengals are doing on their D-line either. I mean, they paid a lot of money for Trey Hendrickson from New Orleans, who's a big impact pass rusher. I also like Sam Hubbard, who's not a household name, but he's gotten the job done against Kansas City as well. And the defensive tackles, B.J. Hill and D.J. Reader. Obviously the Bengals are going to have – Joe Burrow's going to have to get rid of the ball quickly and avoid that pressure that's going to be coming after him. But at the same time, I think the Bengals are capable of getting pressure on Matthew Stafford. Do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, especially if they can play the way that they played, the second half of the AFC Championship game. It was great. It was a great adjustment. And I think if you can get pressure on Stafford, that's when he's at his worst.
Yeah. You got to get pressure, force him to make a turnover or two. And then obviously Joe Burrow's done a lot better job of getting the ball out quickly, and he's also going to have a couple of those magical plays where, Chris Jones had him twice for a sack, and Burrow was able to shrug off the sack and keep the play alive and use his athletic ability to, escape. And he's going to have to do some of that with, Von Miller, Leonard Floyd, even Aaron Donald. Do you think Joe Burrow, if Joe Burrow can pull that off in the Super Bowl, he's definitely got something special in him. It's going to be very interesting to see how Joe Burrow plays in this Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's big stage for a young kid, but I think he's gonna perform well.
How do you compare Joe Burrow, how he looks going into this Super Bowl, against how Patrick Mahomes looked going into that Niners Super Bowl?
I mean, I think Patrick Mahomes was just a little bit level better than Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
But Joe Burrow looks good, and he's the future of the NFL, and like I said, I think the kid's going to play great.
Yeah, I could agree with that. Like, Mahomes was playing at such a high level at that point, but the fact that Burrow beat Mahomes to get here in Arrowhead is, like, incredible, and it's going to be a lot of fun to see how these guys respond. And the linebacker battle, I give an edge to Cincinnati. I mean, the Rams don't have elite linebacker play. You're talking Troy Reader, Christian Roseboom, Travin Howard. The Bengals have Logan Wilson and Jermaine Pratt, two young, athletic linebackers. I like what Cincy's got at the linebacker position, and they're going to have to bring it, fill the running lanes, stop the run, and, play good pass D as well. But I like what Cincy's got at linebacker.
Yeah, I have to agree. And, I mean, with Stafford not being as mobile, I think that, their main thing would be if they can stop the run and keep Stafford one-dimensional, it's going to be a long night for the Rams.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go to defensive back where, of course, you got the star Jalen Ramsey, and he's going to, I think, likely going to be following Jamar Chase wherever he goes the entire game. Nick Scott, their safety, has been impressive. They got DeAndre Ayton, I believe, or Dayton, that other DeAndre Dayton, something like that, the other corner. I like the Bengals corners as well. I like Mike Hilton, Chidobe Awuzie, Eli Apple, Von Bell, Jesse Bates, Trey Flowers. I'm really interested to see how this Bengals secondary matches up against the Rams, elite receivers.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it as the Rams do have elite receivers, but they're not like on the level of Kansas City. So, if you can stop Kansas City receivers, I definitely think that you can stop LA's receivers.
Yeah, and one of the things that frustrated me so much about the Niners-Rams game is that they kept allowing Cooper Kupp to beat them. And the Bengals had to do a much better job of knowing where Cooper Kupp is and defending him and not allowing him to get wide-ass open. And if Odell Beckham Jr. goes off in this game, you can almost live with that. You cannot allow Cooper Kupp to go off for 2 or 3 touchdowns and 150 to 200 yards. You can't allow that. That's inexcusable. So I hope the Bengals defense has a game plan to slow him down.
Yeah, I agree because, obviously when Stafford goes through his reads, Cooper Kupp is the first guy he looks for. So
yeah, absolutely. So we'll see how that goes. And then, of course, all eyes are going to be on Jalen Ramsey against Jamar Chase. And then, what's your opinion? Do the Rams have the secondary? Take Jalen Ramsey out of it. We all know Jalen Ramsey is elite, the best corner in football. Besides Jalen Ramsey, do the Rams have a secondary to contain T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd and C.J. Uzomah and Joe Mixon and Samaje Perine?
I do not believe so.
Yeah. So I think Burrow has a good game as long as he has some time. You know what I mean? He's got to get rid of the ball quickly and get the ball out there in the hands of his playmakers.
Yeah, I agree. And we seen Burrow 2 weeks ago using his legs too.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's going to be a lot of great storylines for this game, looking all across this matchup. And then at kicker, how about the rookie, Evan McPherson, 12 for 12 in the playoffs? I give him the edge over Matt Gay, who's missed 2 field goals in the playoffs. And imagine it comes down, Evan McPherson's hit game winners the entire playoffs. Imagine it comes down to an Evan McPherson field goal for the win in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, give that damn Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah. How about a rookie 5th-round pick out of Florida? The storyline, I mean, I can't think of a better start to an NFL career for a kicker since, like, Adam Vinatieri and shit.
Yeah, wow, it's been that long. Adam Vinatieri, Robbie Gould, those guys.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, going on a 12 for 12 kicking, in the playoffs, that reminds us of Robbie Gould, who went 21 for 21. So, he's in special territory so far. So let's go key matchups here. Do you believe, in order for the Bengals to win, Joe Burrow needs to outplay Matthew Stafford?
Absolutely.
And how do you think that goes? I mean, do you think Stafford has a great game?
I think Stafford, this is where Stafford says, you know what, this is my moment. I waited 10 plus years for this. It may not happen again. I'm going to come out and I'm going to ball.
All right. What's his stat line? All right. How many touchdowns? How many turnovers?
It's funny you said turnovers. So I'm going to go, I think he goes 27 for 42.
All right.
I'm going to go 310 yards.
All right.
2 TDs and no picks, and the other TD is going to come from either Michelle or Akers.
All right. I like that. I think so. You were on the episode with Chad Brown, and I asked him if I was being a hater on Stafford, and he said, no, you're using your eyes. I've been saying this all playoff long, and Stafford's proved me wrong time and time and time again. 3 games in a row, Stafford's proved me wrong. Actually, I picked him to play pretty well against Arizona, so you got to give me credit for that. But I've been wrong twice on Stafford. He's had pretty good games. He should have thrown a second pick against the Niners. I think this is where Stafford's luck runs out. I think he has a good game, but not a great game. And I think he has 2 turnovers, 2 interceptions likely. And that's going to be the key. I think if the Bengals force 2 Stafford turnovers, they win this game. And I honestly think Joe Burrow outperforms Matthew Stafford, and we're going to be crowning Joe Burrow after this game. That's my prediction. I didn't think, go back to the preseason predictions, I didn't have the Bengals anywhere near the winning their division. I didn't have them anywhere near the playoffs or the Super Bowl. Now that he's here, Joe Burrow's opened my eyes. I think this dude is special, and I liked what he was doing at LSU, and it seems to have translated already to the NFL.
Yeah, and I mean, imagine if they would have took a lineman instead of Jamar Chase in that draft that we were debating. I mean, I think Chase was the best pick that they could have got.
Well, yeah, I think he's the best. I mean, definitely the best offensive rookie. And so he's performed so well, you can't argue that, Penei Sewell over Jamar Chase. But I also think that if they had gone offensive line, that would have made sense too, because the offensive line's been so bad this year,
Yeah, I agree, but man, you need a playmaker, and playmakers get you to the championship. Not saying offensive linemen don't, but when you have a special playmaker like Jamar Chase and you're going to score at least 80% of the time, that's pretty, that's a good draft pick.
Yeah, I still stand by the fact that, I'm taking offensive line in that position 9 times out of 10. It's just that Jamar Chase had a rookie season that's comparable to Randy Moss's rookie season. And that's, once in a lifetime. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man. Randy was just unbelievable.
Yeah. So, credit there. And we'll see what type of a Super Bowl debut we see out of Burrow and Chase. The running back matchup, the Bengals need to feed Joe Mixon. They need to get him a lot of touches in both the running game and the passing game. He's a weapon out of the backfield, and he can be a game changer in this game, much more than any other running back in this game. I'm a big fan of Joe Mixon. What do you think?
Yeah, Joe Mixon is the best back that's going to be playing on Sunday.
Yeah. He reminds me of Le'Veon Bell in his prime. Not quite to that level, but he's got flashes of it.
I agree.
And then, yeah, you're going to need a big game. So, would you agree Jamar Chase and T. Higgins need to outperform Cooper Kupp and OBJ? And this is a great matchup. Four of the best receivers in the game, in my opinion. The Bengals are much younger than the Rams guys, but this is going to be a lot of fun watching these four receivers battle it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're also going to need Tyler Boyd to step up. But if Jamar Chase is slowed by Jalen Ramsey, T. Higgins needs to bring it. And going back to the draft, when T. Higgins was available a couple years ago, I was super high on T. Higgins. He fell for some reason, but he's a playmaker. Jamar Chase gets all the love, but I'm a big T. Higgins fan as well. Do you agree?
Oh, yeah. T. Higgins is good. He's underrated.
Yeah. And as much talk as Cooper Kupp gets, I'm very intrigued to see how Odell Beckham Jr. plays in his first Super Bowl. This dude could go off.
Yeah, I mean, like Matthew Stafford, this is improvement point Odell Beckham.
Yeah. You know he wants to show out. He wants to go for over 100 and a touchdown or two at least. And in the trenches, this is going to be key. I think a lot of people are saying, even NFL experts, NFL national media are saying the Bengals have no shot to block the Rams' D-line. Bold take here. I think the Bengals' O-line performs a lot better than people think. Do you think I'm crazy?
That's where we're going to have to disagree on this podcast tonight, Alex.
Okay.
That Rams defense is just, man, it seems like to me you've been underestimating them all season long.
Well, do you think, is it just Aaron Donald, or is it the other pieces as well?
It's others. Von Miller.
Yeah.
You got some big-time athletes on that defense.
Yeah, I do. And also, I think the Bengals O-line struggles have been overblown a little bit as well. I think they perform better than people think. I know this Rams D-line is nasty, but, man, I don't see them dominating this game. And we might disagree on this, and it'll be fun to talk back and forth during the Super Bowl and see how they perform. Because if the Rams dominate, the Bengals are going to be in trouble, I think. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But, I mean, like, man, the Bengals' offensive line is where their weakest at is their tackles. And good thing for that is Aaron Donald doesn't play defensive end, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, so keep an eye on Von Miller, who, if you remember, the last time Von Miller played in a Super Bowl, he abused the Panthers, and he was getting to Cam Newton, and Von Miller was the man in that game. I don't think he's the same player he was then, but he can still make impact plays.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And then Mark Schlereth had a really good point on Aaron Donald and guys like him. He said the reason that you want to run at him instead of away from him is because they're such good athletes that they're much more likely to shed the block and chase you down and make a play. What you want to do is go right at them and kind of limit their athletic ability and put them in a phone booth, you know what I mean? So it's just man on man and nowhere to go. Then allow them to use their freak athleticism and chase you down. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, because, I mean, Aaron Donald, if you let him rush at your quarterback, you're not stopping them.
Yeah. So that's going to be definitely something to keep an eye on there as well. But that's my bold take. I think the Bengals' offensive line performs well. I don't think they dominate, but I think they do enough. And Burrow's got to get rid of the ball quickly, and he's got to have a little bit of that special that he had against Kansas City, where he breaks off a sack or two and keeps the play alive. You know, the greatest Super Bowl performances happen like that. Remember Eli Manning with the David Tyree catch, where the Patriots had him for a sack, and he somehow found a way out of it and made a special play to keep that game-winning, that drive alive, you know?
Yeah, I remember that. What a play.
That was crazy, and it was the gum on top of David Tyree's helmet that helped him catch that ball, right?
Didn't say that, but, you know.
That was incredible. I know we're joking about the gum, but that was one of the most, in Super Bowl history, that was one of the most incredible plays I've ever seen. Go ahead.
Brady, at least 9 rings if it wasn't for that and Eli Manning.
Yeah, I think, God, every time we talk NFL and NFL history, for Tom Coughlin and Eli Manning, keeping Tom Brady without 2 more rings, because that would be insane. And those are some of the most fun Super Bowls to watch, those Giants wins. And that's the thing. Let me bring this up, Dustin, because it's so easy to get caught up in the Rams are the better team here, so they're going to find a way to win. The Patriots were the favorites, both those Super Bowls against the Giants. Not always does the favorite win. The Patriots were the favorite against the Eagles when Nick Foles went off. Sometimes you just run up against a hot team or a hot quarterback, whether it was Eli Manning, Nick Foles, maybe Joe Burrow is that this time.
Yeah, and I think Joe Burrow already, those guys are MVPs, but I think Joe Burrow at his skill level is almost close to what Eli was.
Yeah. Yeah. So
that's saying that this is only Burrow's second year after coming off an ACL injury.
I know. It's so incredible. That's why I keep comparing him to Patrick Mahomes. Because the amount of success Mahomes had so early in his career and is still having, Joe Burrow has a chance to match that. And it starts with this Super Bowl Sunday coming out with a win. You get a championship that early in your career. And it's crazy to think that Russell Wilson got one that early and hasn't had another one since. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, he would have had one if Pete Carroll knew how to play call at the 1 yard line, but we're not going to talk about that.
I know, man. They should have had back-to-back. And that would have been another one, taking another ring away from Tom Brady. It's crazy. It's crazy to think back at the little details that affect the legacy and the history and how we talk about certain quarterbacks based on one play here and one play there.
That's all it takes is one play to really change a game.
Yeah, and change a legacy and even change a career. It's so incredible. That's why we love the NFL. Now let's go defense. And, dude, I was really impressed, and I know you were too, with the second half adjustments that carried into overtime that the Bengals made on Kansas City. And if they can bring that into the Super Bowl against the Rams, DC Lou Anarumo needs to get a ton of credit. And I think there's a chance he might. What if Lou Anarumo has the Bengals defense, has like a Todd Bowles, Tampa Bay Buccaneers type, they just get hot at the right moment and shut shit down and win a Super Bowl. That would be incredible.
Yeah, especially to beat a very talented LA.
Yeah, and talking about in Arrowhead against a very talented Chiefs. None of us saw that coming in the second half, bro. That blew my mind. Did it yours?
Yeah, I thought it was over, man. It got, 24-3, I believe, right?
21-3, and then it was 21-10, and they should have gone up 24-10. But yeah, 21-3, and they won that game.
Yeah, it was they had a performance.
Yeah. So we'll see. I just think the Bengals defense is going to be playing well. I like that DC. He deserves a lot of credit. And we'll see if they have to slow Matthew Stafford. If you can slow Stafford and get him to make a mistake or two, then you can win. It's doable. And then going to the kicking game, Evan McPherson, we've already talked about it. If he can keep up his heroics, he's special so far. And the last thing the Rams want to see is Evan McPherson line up for a game winner.
Yeah, that is true. That's very true, man. The guy just seems to be automatic.
And the ball's on him. Did you hear that? He went out there and talked about, before he even kicked the ball, he said to his placeholder, I can't believe we're going to the AFC Championship, and, I can't believe we're going to the Super Bowl, before he kicked it.
Yeah, that right there is confidence, and the man's got ice in his veins. He's not scared of the moment and very clutch.
That's why I believe in this team, bro. I think Cincy's got this in the bag. I really do. I just think they got ice in the veins. They're cocky. They're confident. They're coming in here believing we shouldn't even be in this game. We're playing with house money. We're on fire, and we're not scared of the moment. And I think they're going to play loose and with nothing to lose. Meanwhile, I think the pressure on McVay and Stafford and even Aaron Donald, it might get to this Rams team.
Yeah, I feel like Stafford's ready for this moment. I do.
And if Stafford can pull this off, this is a legacy-defining win. You know what I mean? And this is huge for McVay as well. It'd be so prove everybody wrong if they can pull this off.
In my opinion, here's a hot take, okay? So hear me out. Stafford wins the Super Bowl. This submits his spot into the Hall of Fame.
It would. I agree. And if he stays hot and doesn't turn the ball over and throws 10 touchdowns and 1 pick in the entire playoff run, everyone will look back at 2021 and say that was a special playoff run by Matthew Stafford. So the opportunity's here. The opportunity's now. Would you agree this is the best chance, the best team around him that Stafford's ever had?
Absolutely. Matthew Stafford, like I said earlier, has to win this Super Bowl. This is a must-win for him more than it is anybody else on that field.
Yeah.
Besides Odell Beckham.
Yeah, well, Odell Beckham needs to play well. He doesn't necessarily have to win. I know he needs to win. He wants to win. But I think he'll get another opportunity later in his career. This would be big for Sean McVay, too, because the narrative is going to turn on him quick if he starts 0-2 in the Super Bowl and loses to his disciple, Zach Taylor.
Yeah, it's, man, it's just crazy, how a lot of these guys that were in the playoffs this year were so close,
Yeah. Well, I mean, you look back to Tampa Bay. I'll go down for a long time arguing the Bucs should still be playing. The Bucs should be in this game, bro. And they choked it away by not defending Cooper Kupp late. You know what I mean? That comeback was nuts.
Yeah, and I mean, imagine if they really would have came back in that game. I know the Super Bowl comeback was great, but this one would have meant more, in my opinion, when it came to Tom Brady, just because, you were down, and you weren't playing well at all.
Yeah.
At all. And you came out and brought your team back to overtime, but unfortunately your defense let you down.
It would be another, special all-time, game and moment, especially if it led to a second consecutive Super Bowl.
Yeah, it would, man. It would have been unbelievable.
But credit to the Rams, credit to Stafford for making the game-winning throw to Cooper Kupp, and now he's got his opportunity. I mean, you have to beat the best to be the best. He's beat Tom Brady. He beat the Niners and Kyle Shanahan in that defense. Now is the opportunity to beat the young gun, Joe Burrow, and this Bengals team who are breaking records and so special. A very big opportunity for Sean McVay, Matthew Stafford, and the Rams. Either way, the narrative and the legacy coming out of Sunday night's Super Bowl is going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. So, question for you, Alex.
Yeah.
Who is your ultimate Super Bowl MVP?
In this game or all time?
No, in this game right now. On Sunday.
So, in order to win, it's Joe Burrow, bro. That's who it's got to be. I believe that Joe Burrow's got something in him that's rare. He's got Patrick Mahomes. He's got a little Tom Brady. He's got a little Joe Montana. He's got swag. He did it in college. A lot of people didn't believe that they could go beat Clemson, who I believe was the defending champs at that time, right?
Yeah.
And Trevor Lawrence was the hottest thing in college football. And here comes Joe Burrow, who breaks records at LSU, goes undefeated, and goes into that championship game and beats the man, Trevor Lawrence. I just think Joe Burrow's got ice in his veins, and for him to get this team, this young Bengals team here already. Like, I was a doubter of Zach Taylor from the moment he was hired. I thought he was hired because, he's a Sean McVay disciple. So you just give these guys head coach jobs because you hope they're the next Sean McVay. Joe Burrow has made me a Zach Taylor believer to get this far already. And Jamar Chase having a Randy Moss-type rookie year, he doesn't do that without Joe Burrow throwing him the ball. So Joe Burrow is special. He's got that it factor. If there's anyone besides Joe Burrow who I think could pull this off, have a special game, and win Super Bowl MVP, my number 2, I give it to Joe Mixon. I think if you feed Joe Mixon enough, the Rams are going to try their hardest to take Jamar Chase out of the game. And you said it yourself, Jalen Ramsey, if there's one guy in the league that can slow Jamar Chase down, it's Jalen Ramsey. So if that's the case, Joe Mixon could have a big game. Could go for 150 combined yards and 2 or 3 touchdowns. And if that's the case, he might take home Super Bowl MVP. So it's Joe Burrow, 80% to me, but Joe Mixon could have an opportunity as well. What about you? Who's your guy? Give me like 2 guys who you think could pull it off.
Okay, the 2 guys who I think could pull it off, well, obviously Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
And this one's a dark horse, but if he can go for at least 150 and his plays are big impacts of the game, give me Jamar Chase.
Yeah, definitely. Especially going up against Jalen Ramsey.
Look, if that kid puts if he gets even 100 on Jalen Ramsey, bro, he's very, very special.
You want my bold take here? Here's another bold take going into the Super Bowl Sunday. That's my prediction. I think Jamar Chase gets the better of Jalen Ramsey. I think he has a big game. I think he goes for over 100 yards and a touchdown or 2. I could see 150 plus and 2 touchdowns on Jalen Ramsey. And Jalen Ramsey would be pissed.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if you remember, Jalen Ramsey's not unbeatable. Remember that throw? They got the Bucs back into the game. Mike Evans beat Jalen Ramsey for a big touchdown in the divisional round.
Yeah, I do. And, it looked like he just straight up got beat,
Yeah. But I mean, Jamar Chase, he like we said, he's been special. He's been Randy Moss-esque for a rookie season. You know, Jalen Ramsey is great, but so is Jamar Chase.
Yeah, it's going to be the battle of the two, top 5 best players at their position.
What about Cooper Kupp or Odell Beckham Jr. taking home Super Bowl MVP?
It could happen, but I think just because of the storyline, if they a lot of yards, it would go to Matthew Stafford.
You know what I think Stafford needs to do to win this game and to win Super Bowl MVP? This is the game he needs to have. 4 touchdowns, no turnovers. He needs to ball out. He needs to have the game of his life. And he's got a lot of doubters around the NFL that have been watching his career in Detroit. There's a lot of Lions fans all in and hoping so hard, rooting so hard for Stafford to play the game of his life on the biggest stage. To me, as a doubter, as a Bears fan, as a guy who's been, doubting him throughout this playoff run, I don't see it. I see, 2 touchdowns, 2 turnovers. And I really do. I think the Bengals defense plays really well. And that's key. They have to. Stafford's fully capable of throwing for 350 and and at least 3 touchdowns, and you can't allow that to happen.
Okay, so if the Rams win and Stafford is Super Bowl MVP, can I finally get you to say that Stafford is great?
Yeah, I will come on here and admit it. That Stafford had a great run. He won Super Bowl MVP and deserves it. But I keep going back to what Chad Brown said, and my gut, and my eyes, the eye test. And if you're, I think the pressure, the Super Bowl is unlike any other game, in the entire league. The pressure amps way the hell up. And sometimes it gets to people, and I think it gets to McVay, and I think it gets to Stafford, and I think they struggle enough. I don't think they, have a terrible performance, but I think they struggle enough. And I just don't see Joe Burrow. I don't see Joe Burrow struggling in this game. And in order for that to happen, that Rams pass rush has to be all over Joe Burrow. Similar to the way the Bucs got to Patrick Mahomes last year.
Yep, I agree. That's huge.
So we'll see. I'm very interested to see how these quarterbacks play, how these teams play. My prediction, I got the Bengals 27, the Rams 24 in a great game. Evan McPherson for the game-winning field goal, and Joe Burrow for Super Bowl MVP. He's outplayed Trevor Lawrence and Patrick Mahomes in the 2 biggest games of his career, and that continues on Sunday night. He's going to outplay Matthew Stafford and win the Super Bowl, and we're going to be crowning Joe Burrow this early into his career, similar to what we did with Patrick Mahomes. What's your prediction for the score, the winner, and Super Bowl MVP?
Okay, so 31-27.
All right.
Rams. Just because I think if you give Stafford the ball last, he takes them on a historic run that they're going to remember forever.
Yeah.
Or a historic final drive, I should say. And so it's going to be 31-27 Rams. Super Bowl MVP gives to Matthew Stafford.
Who catches the game-winning touchdown?
Oh. You know what? I'm going to go with, this is crazy, but I'm going to go with Odell Beckham Jr.
Yeah, I was hoping you were going to say that. Give it to OBJ. Either way, you can tell this is going to be fun as hell no matter who wins. Like the storylines, all the matchups, this game is going to be an absolute blast.
Yeah.
So, awesome shit. I mean, do you have anything to add? I think we covered it all. I mean, You know, it's going to be a fun game. I think it comes down to the wire. I hope it's a great game. I don't want to see a blowout. I want to see it come down to the final drive.
Absolutely, and yeah, I mean, it's going to come down to, the final drive or two, but it's going to be good because both of these teams, I mean, yeah, the Rams on paper are more talented, but there's fight in them Bengals.
Yeah.
So I think it's getting closer.
That's the thing. Remember going back to preseason? None of us predicted the Bengals. I don't think they even make the playoffs, let alone go to the Super Bowl.
No, I mean, coming off a 4-12 season with a quarterback that was in question at the time about,
injury.
CL, it's incredible.
Yeah. That's why we watch the game. For these storylines, these moments, these games, a chance for Joe Burrow or Matthew Stafford to show the world that they're champions, in their first opportunity. So I can't wait. Thanks for coming on, Dustin. Great insight as always. Can't wait to watch this game, bro.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be so much fun. And, hey, check it out, guys. You're going to be in for, in my opinion, is going to be one hell of a Super Bowl. I mean, you have the future versus a quarterback who is a must-win.
Yep. And, if you're listening to this, let us know what you think in the comments. Let us know who you got winning, what the score is, and who's taking home Super Bowl MVP. We'll get this posted and get your opinions on this. Leave your comments, and we should be in for a hell of a game on Sunday night. So thanks, Dustin. Good shit as always, and we'll be back, and we're gonna start getting ramped up for our draft coverage after the game.
Absolutely. Cannot wait. That's going to be fun.
Absolutely. Sounds good. Thanks, everyone. Have a great week, and peace out.